Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about this free cell service from this company called TextNow. Been testing it out for a little while here, and I've actually found out about this from one of the sponsored videos. So this is actually not a sponsored video. I actually purchased this SIM card with my own money. It's not that expensive. It's $4.99 and shipping included. And what's interesting is that what they're saying for this free cell service is that it provides you with unlimited talk and text, so phone calls and SMS messages, plus what they're calling essential data. So this wasn't available until recently, this essential data. And I think it started maybe a couple months ago, is my understanding. Now previously, like TextNow, this is their icon here. It used to be just an app in the Google Play Store and iOS Store. You could use that to basically get like a burner number on your cell phone, like another phone number that you can temporarily use, and then you would use it over Wi-Fi. And they've been around for a long time, I think since like 2008. And then at some point in the past, I'm not exactly sure when, they started offering these SIM cards. So you could buy a SIM card and then you can get the unlimited talk and text over the cellular network. So using a certain carrier, I believe before they were using Sprint, and now they recently switched over to T-Mobile is what they're using. It's a back-end carrier for the 5G data. And then earlier this year, I think a couple months ago, they now have added, in addition to phone calls and text messages over cellular network, they're now offering essential data. And what essential data is things like maps, email, and rideshare programs like Lyft. So here's Lyft right here. I have tested this with, well, not everything that's on the list. I'll show you the list here. They obviously, these are the ones that are officially supported, but only those ones, as far as I could tell, will work. I did try things like video streaming, just even basic web browsing. Those do not work at all. Those are definitely blocked. And I'm not sure if there's a way around it. I'm sure they have an ironclad system in terms of how they want this stuff to work. But things like Google Maps, they work fine. Waze works totally fine. Obviously, their program for phone calls and messaging work totally fine, as long as you have a good cell connection, which is like with any phone. And things like Lyft that I've tested, that also is working pretty well. It can get a little glitchy sometimes, or sometimes it seems a little bit unresponsive. For the most part, though, it generally works with those apps without any issues. Now, they do have, obviously, or there's a reason why it is free. So if you go into the app here, you get all these advertisements that are shown here in your outgoing phone calls and in your messages. Not too obtrusive. There's usually one big one here in the middle and then one at the bottom. And then sometimes you'll get some ads here in the settings section. So for example, you can remove ads and lock your number if you click this. And this is not cheap. I would not recommend doing this. So for example, locking your number is you can basically not lose your number due to inactivity. And then you can also receive two-factor verification codes. So one of the things that if you just have the standard account, where you're not paying for the locked-in number, $1.99 a week, you can't use those what they're called. I think they're called OTAs, or over-the-air codes. So like sometimes when you're trying to do like some sort of like verification of some sort, you get a code that'll come by SMS message. And for the most part, I did try a few, and then for the most part they didn't work. A couple of them got through, so you might get lucky, but for the most part they block those, and because obviously they want to collect their $1.99 a week for that. But if you don't care about that, then obviously don't pay that. It's still free. You just have to kind of use the number like, I don't know, I'd say at least once every few days. If you don't use it for a while, you'll get an email or a message saying that, hey, we noticed that you're not using your number, and if you don't use it soon, we're going to have to give the number to someone else. So because they only have a certain number of numbers in their pool, and they have to give it out to whoever else wants to join the service. Also, if you don't like the ads, you can pay $6.99 a week to get rid of the ads, but I'm not sure if that's really all that worth it. It's kind of expensive compared to just regular phone service. I mean, you can get like regular phone service from Tello, you know, like a basic setup is like $6 a month. So this is definitely super expensive, but it also includes, I think, the stuff from the locked in number up here. So it's just, I guess, $5 more a week. But again, this stuff is way too expensive. I wouldn't spend the money on it. They also do offer these flex data passes, which are way too expensive in my opinion. So if you want just basically full speed data, like you're just got like a regular phone service, you can get one of these passes, 99 cents for an hour. Might be okay in a pinch, but you know, why would you when you can just get regular phone service for $6 a month? You have an unlimited day pass, 24 hours is $4.99, and then if you want a month pass, it's going to be 30 days for $39.99. And in my opinion, there's definitely better options out there. This is obviously for people that maybe just want to get regular phone service with the, you know, the full data for a short period amount of time, and they just don't want to deal with switching their number. But in my opinion, this is probably not a very good deal. So in the end, you know, I think that this is going to be for a very limited number of people. I think it's for people that basically want a phone where they're going to primarily be using it over a Wi-Fi connection and not necessarily over a cellular connection, and don't want to pay for phone service. So you just want to get a phone number. You're going to connect to it, you know, your phone over Wi-Fi. If you do your normal, like, you know, video streaming, email, all your normal, you know, normal internet activities over Wi-Fi, then this will be a pretty good option to have at least have a phone number and some SMS data or SMS messaging. You could do that with this service, and then in the occasion that you're away from Wi-Fi and you want to use things like email and your phone number for calls and messaging, you can do that. Maybe you need to look up directions with Google Maps. You can do that. If you need to you know, get a ride from Lyft or Uber, you can do that as well with this, with the essential data package, which only costs you $4.99 for the SIM card, and you don't have to pay anything beyond that. You know, personally, I think something like this would be good for if you want to give like phone service to your kids, where you kind of want to limit them in terms of what they can do outside of the house. So obviously you still want them to have access to messaging and phone calls so you can reach them, which this does. You'll be able to reach them via phone calls and messaging. And if they need to, you know, get ride shares like from Uber or Lyft, they can do that from the service that does work. But it limits them in terms of being able to do any kind of video streaming, other types of internet activities, web browsing, etc., outside of the house. So if you kind of want to be restrictive with your kids in that way and still provide them a phone that's fairly usable, this is a good way to do it, and it doesn't really cost you much other than buying the SIM card for $4.99. So that's my review of the TextNow phone service here. It is free phone service, but it is kind of limited in what you can do. It has a lot of restrictions. But I think for some people in certain situations, it could be good for them or good enough. And if that's for you, then yeah, let me know in the comments below if that's something that might interest you, because, you know, not everyone wants to pay even $5 or $6 a month for some of the really cheap plans out there. There you can get some really cheap plans from Tello or Mint Mobile. But if you really are just in a pinch and don't want to spend any money, this is one way to go. And if you have access to Wi-Fi, if you're often near Wi-Fi, like, you know, if you're at a Starbucks or at the office or at home and you're constantly using Wi-Fi, then having a cellular plan and paying a monthly fee pretty much continuously, endlessly, may not be for you. So this might be something you might want to check out. Anyway, I'll link that down in the video description if you guys want to check it out. That'll do for this video. Talk to you guys in the next one.